The vast emptiness of space stretched before the ISS horizon, a gleaming testament to human engineering. Captain J. Park stood motionless, his eyes fixed on the holographic display that flickered with an approaching alien vessel. The ship's advanced sensors hummed softly, collecting data with each passing second. Shai Kim, the communications officer, adjusted her headset. Her fingers moved carefully across the quantum communication panel, a device that represented humanity's most recent technological breakthrough. The alien ship drew closer, its metallic hull reflecting the distant starlight in an eerie, almost hypnotic pattern. "Captain?" Hai called out, her voice calm, but tinged with a hint of excitement. "We're receiving a transmission." J. Park nodded, his military training keeping his emotions in check. The holographic screen flickered to life, revealing a creature unlike anything humans had encountered before. Rolk, the alien representative, was a bizarre combination of tentacle-like appendages and a body that seemed to shift and change with each movement. The research team aboard the Horizon had been preparing for this moment for years. Humanity's understanding of extraterrestrial life had evolved rapidly, driven by an insatiable curiosity and a technological prowess that seemed to defy previous limitations. Rolk began to speak, his language translated by advanced AI systems that worked in milliseconds. The message was clear and condescending. The aliens viewed humans as a primitive species, barely worthy of notice. They spoke of potential protection and guidance, words that thinly veiled their true intention of potential conquest. Dr. Sung Lee, the lead researcher, watched the transmission with a calculated gaze. He had spent years studying potential alien communication methods, and something about Rolk's presentation seemed off. The way the alien moved, the specific choice of words, it all suggested a deeper agenda. The bridge of the ISS Horizon was a marvel of human engineering. Sleek panels lined the walls. Holographic displays showed real-time data from multiple sources, and the crew moved with a precision that spoke of extensive training and preparation. Each crew member represented the best of human potential, intelligent, adaptable, and remarkably calm under pressure. Hai Kim's fingers continued to dance across her communication panel. She was collecting every piece of data, every microscopic detail of the transmission. Nothing would be missed. Years of advanced training had prepared her for this exact moment. First contact with an extraterrestrial civilization. Captain J. Park stepped forward, his posture straight and confident. He understood the historical significance of this moment. Centuries of human exploration, technological advancement, and scientific curiosity had led to this single point in time. The alien vessel continued its approach, massive and imposing. Its design was unlike anything humans had previously imagined, organic yet mechanical, fluid yet structured. It represented a level of technological achievement that would have seemed impossible just decades earlier. Dr. Sung Lee whispered something to his assistant, a young researcher named Min Ki. Their conversation was brief but intense, filled with scientific observations and potential hypotheses about the alien vessel's capabilities. Rolk continued his transmission, seemingly unaware of the careful analysis happening on the human ship. He spoke of galactic protocols, of established civilizations, of the potential assistance his species could provide to the developing human civilization. What Rolk didn't know was that humanity had been preparing for this moment for decades. Secret research facilities, advanced space defense systems, and a global network of scientific collaboration had created a species far more advanced than any external observation might suggest. The bridge crew remained focused. Each member understood their role, their responsibility. This was more than a potential first contact. This was a moment that could define humanity's place in the universe. Captain J. Park's hand moved slightly, a subtle gesture that signaled the crew to prepare for any potential scenario. Years of military and scientific training had taught them to be ready for anything. The alien vessel drew closer. Sensors collected data. Researchers analyzed every millisecond of information. The universe seemed to hold its breath, waiting for the next moment. The research facility stood as a silent guardian of human potential. Massive windows overlooked a landscape of advanced technological infrastructure, where machines and human intellect merged in perfect harmony. Dr. Woo Kim walked between rows of experimental stations, his footsteps echoing through the sterile environment. Quantum computing had changed everything. What once seemed impossible was now merely a starting point for human innovation. Researchers worked tirelessly, their minds connected to complex networks that processed information faster than any biological system could comprehend. In a small laboratory tucked away from main view, a team of scientists examined a breakthrough that would redefine human technological capabilities. Nanotechnology had evolved beyond simple medical applications. These microscopic machines could now rebuild, reconstruct, and reimagine entire systems of technological infrastructure. Researcher Ji-Hun Park stood before a holographic display, watching as nanobots reconstructed a miniature communication network in real time. Each tiny machine worked with precision that seemed almost magical, connecting and disconnecting with mathematical perfection. The global scientific community had transformed. No longer were researchers confined by national boundaries or limited resources. A worldwide network of brilliant minds worked together, sharing information at speeds that would have been unimaginable just decades earlier. Artificial intelligence had become more than just a tool. It was a collaborative partner, capable of processing complex problems and generating solutions that pushed the boundaries of human understanding. The AI systems developed in these laboratories were not just computers, they were thinking entities that could adapt, learn, and evolve. Dr. Sung Lee reviewed the latest data from their most recent experiment. Adaptive learning algorithms had created a network of intelligence that could predict technological challenges before they even emerged. It was like having a crystal ball powered by pure computational power. Outside the research facility, the world continued to change. Cities had transformed into smart ecosystems where every system was connected, every resource optimized. Energy, production, communication networks, transportation systems, all had been revolutionized by human ingenuity. The team worked with a sense of purpose that went beyond simple scientific curiosity. They understood that each breakthrough could potentially change the course of human history. The recent encounter with the alien civilization had only accelerated their efforts. Min Ki, a young researcher with exceptional analytical skills, ran complex simulations. Her fingers moved quickly across holographic interfaces, testing potential technological scenarios that could protect humanity from any potential threat. She represented a new generation of scientists, fearless, innovative, and completely dedicated to pushing human potential. Quantum shield technology emerged as their most promising project. Unlike traditional defensive systems, these shields could adapt in milliseconds, changing their molecular structure to neutralize any incoming threat. It was more than a defensive mechanism. It was a living, breathing technological organism. The research facility buzzed with an energy that was both intellectual and emotional. Each scientist understood the stakes. Their work was not just about scientific discovery, it was about ensuring human survival in an increasingly complex universe. Woo Kim gathered his team for a briefing. They reviewed their latest data, discussing potential applications of their technological breakthroughs. The conversation was rapid, filled with technical jargon and complex theoretical discussions that would sound like a foreign language to an outsider. Somewhere in the facility, an advanced AI system continued to process information, learning, and adapting with each passing moment. It was becoming more than just a machine. It was developing a form of intelligence that blurred the lines between artificial and biological consciousness. The global scientific community watched their progress. Reports and data were shared across multiple research centers, each breakthrough building upon the last. Humanity was no longer just advancing, it was accelerating at a rate that defied previous understanding. Outside, the world continued to change. Cities transformed. Technologies merged. The line between human and machine became increasingly blurred. And at the center of it all was this research facility, a beacon of human potential, a testament to what could be achieved when brilliant minds worked together with a singular purpose. Dr. Woo Kim looked out the window, understanding that they were not just developing technology. They were writing the next chapter of human existence. The universe was watching, and humanity was ready. The Mars colony looked like a fragile jewel against the red planetary landscape. Defensive platforms hummed with an almost living energy, their advanced systems connected through quantum networks that pulsed with incredible power. Captain J. Park watched the alien fleet approach. Their ships moved with a confidence that bordered on arrogance, massive metal structures that had conquered countless civilizations before encountering humanity. Little did they know what awaited them. Roke's fleet believed this would be a simple invasion. Decades of galactic conquests had made them overconfident. Their weapons systems were advanced by most known standards, but humanity had been preparing something entirely different. The first wave of alien ships entered the Mars defensive perimeter. Weapon systems powered by experimental quantum entanglement technology began to activate. Each defensive platform seemed to breathe, waiting for the precise moment to strike. Communication Officer Hai Kim's fingers moved across her control panel. Her eyes remained calm, calculating. Years of training had prepared her for this exact moment. The quantum communication systems began to synchronize, creating a network more complex than any alien technology could comprehend. Dr. Sung Lee watched from the primary control room. His team had spent years developing these defense mechanisms. Quantum shields could now adapt faster than any known weapon could penetrate. Each molecular structure could change in microseconds, neutralizing potential threats before they even registered as a problem. The alien ships fired their first volley. Energy weapons that had decimated countless civilizations erupted towards the Mars defensive platforms. But something unexpected happened. The human defensive systems didn't just block the attack, they absorbed it. Quantum entanglement weapons began their response. Unlike traditional missile systems, these weapons existed in multiple states simultaneously. They could strike targets before the target even recognized an incoming threat. Mathematical precision combined with adaptive intelligence created a weapon system that was more than just a tool. It was a thinking, evolving defense mechanism. Roke's fleet realized something was wrong within seconds. Their advanced scanning systems couldn't process the human defensive capabilities. Ships began to disappear, not destroyed but simply vanishing from existence. Quantum displacement technology turned entire alien vessels into nothing more than statistical anomalies. Captain J. Park remained calm. His voice was steady as he gave minimal commands. Each instruction was precise, each movement calculated. The human defensive system worked like a single intelligent organism, adaptable, quick, and ruthlessly efficient. In less than 3 minutes, the alien invasion fleet ceased to exist. Where massive metal ships had once threatened humanity, now only quantum residue remained. No explosions, no dramatic destruction, simply a complete and total elimination. Minki, monitoring the systems, looked up with a mixture of professional satisfaction and human emotion. Their years of research, their countless hours of preparation, had created something beyond traditional warfare. This was not just a defense, it was a statement. The quantum communication networks began transmitting a simple message across multiple alien frequencies. It was brief, direct, and chilling. Humanity would not be conquered. Researchers in the HFY control room remained silent. They understood the historical significance of what had just occurred. This was more than a military victory. This was a demonstration of human potential that would echo across the galaxy. Dr. Woo Kim reviewed the initial data streams. The defensive systems had performed even better than their most optimistic simulations. Each quantum weapon had worked, with mathematical perfection, adapting and responding faster than any biological or mechanical system could comprehend. Kim transmitted the initial report. Her hands moved with practiced efficiency, encoding the data through multiple quantum channels. The message was clear. Humanity was not just another civilization to be conquered. Outside the Mars colony, silence descended. the red planetary landscape, remained unchanged, a silent witness to humanity's most significant moment of technological demonstration. Captain J. Park allowed himself a brief moment of satisfaction. Then, like a true military professional, he began preparing for potential follow-up scenarios. One victory meant preparation for the next challenge. The universe had just learned a critical lesson about humanity. They were not just another species, to be catalogued or conquered. They were something entirely different. Adaptive, intelligent, and absolutely determined to control their own destiny. And this was just the beginning. News traveled faster than light. Across countless star systems, communication networks buzzed with a single message. Humans had destroyed an entire alien invasion fleet in mere minutes. Intelligence Officer Min Kim sat in a dark monitoring room, surrounded by holographic displays showing galactic communication patterns. Each screen flickered with reports, whispers, and increasingly panicked transmissions from alien civilizations. The Korean Collective, a network of advanced alien races, held an emergency conference. Their leaders watched recorded transmissions of human defensive capabilities with growing terror. What they saw defied everything they understood about technological progression. Alien diplomats began discussing humanity in hushed, fearful tones. They spoke of a species that had transformed from an unknown civilization to the most dangerous force in the known universe. Mathematical models suggested humanity's technological growth was exponential and completely unpredictable. Research centers across multiple star systems began analyzing the human encounter. Advanced alien scientists studied every millisecond of available data, trying to understand how a seemingly young civilization could develop such advanced defensive capabilities. Some alien civilizations suggested immediate isolation strategies. Others proposed diplomatic approaches. But beneath these discussions ran a common thread of pure fear. Humanity had demonstrated something more than technological superiority. They had shown an ability to adapt and respond that challenged fundamental understanding of evolutionary development. The quantum communication networks became flooded with speculation. Each transmission revealed more about the alien civilization's growing terror than any direct information about humans. They recognized a fundamental truth. Humanity was not just another species to be catalogued or controlled. Dr. Sung Lee, monitoring these transmissions from Earth, understood the psychological impact of their demonstration. This was not just a military victory. This was a complete reimagining of galactic power dynamics. Alien research teams began intense studies of human technological development. They discovered something that terrified them even more. Humanity's ability to learn and adapt was unprecedented. Traditional technological progression models simply did not apply to human innovation. Quantum computing networks across different civilizations started running complex simulations. Each model suggested the same conclusion. If humanity continued its current rate of technological advancement, they would become an uncontrollable force within decades. The Xylarian Diplomatic Council, once confident in their galactic dominance, now looked like a collection of frightened children. Their most advanced strategists could not develop a comprehensive plan to manage this new human threat. Min Kim's intelligence report showed something fascinating. Alien civilizations that had previously been aggressive were now becoming cautious. Trade routes were being redesigned, defensive systems were being upgraded, all because of a single human demonstration. Researchers discovered that human technology was not just advanced, it was fundamentally different. Their quantum systems operated on principles that other civilizations had not even theoretically conceived. Each human technological breakthrough seemed to create three more unexpected possibilities. The galactic communication networks began to change. Where once there were discussions of potential conquest, now there were whispers of potential cooperation, or at least careful observation. Humanity had transformed from a potential target to an unknown variable that could not be predicted or controlled. Alien diplomatic missions that had once planned invasion now requested careful, measured communication. They wanted to understand, to analyze, to comprehend this new human potential. Dr. Wu Kim reviewed the global response. Humanity remained calm, almost indifferent to the galactic panic they had created. Their focus remained on continued research, continued innovation, continued exploration. The universe had encountered something it had never seen before, a species that did not just react to technological challenges, but actively created them. Humanity was not just advancing, they were rewriting the fundamental rules of technological evolution. Alien civilizations began to ask a terrifying question: what would humans do next? And in research facilities and military installations across Earth, brilliant minds continued their work, unaware or perhaps completely aware that they were changing the very nature of galactic existence. The ripple effect had begun, and no one, not humans, not aliens, could predict where it would end. Ambassador Yoon Park stood in the massive communication chamber. Holographic displays surrounded him, showing representatives from every known alien civilization. The room hummed with technological energy, a testament to human engineering. His appearance was deliberate. Dressed in a simple dark uniform, he represented not just a diplomatic mission, but the collective will of an entire species. Behind him, quantum communication networks waited, ready to transmit his message across multiple star systems. The alien representatives watched with a mixture of fear and curiosity. Some transmission feeds showed leaders physically trembling. Others showed blank screens, where diplomatic teams had simply disconnected out of terror. "We come in peace," Yoon began, his voice calm and measured. Each word was carefully chosen, translated simultaneously into multiple alien languages by advanced AI systems. "But should you threaten our existence, we will respond with a force beyond your comprehension." The message was simple, direct, absolutely terrifying in its clarity. Alien diplomatic channels went silent. Quantum communication networks buzzed, with analysis, with fear, with a complete inability to process the implications of humanity's declaration. Dr. Sung Lee monitored the transmission from a separate facility. His team watched as alien communication patterns changed in real time. Some civilizations were shutting down external communication channels. Others were rapidly redesigning their defensive strategies. The human declaration was more than a diplomatic statement. It was a clear demonstration of technological and psychological superiority. Humanity was not asking for permission to exist. They were stating their intention to control their own destiny. Min Kim's intelligence reports showed immediate global reactions. Alien research centers began intensive studies of human communication patterns. They were trying to understand the psychology behind such a direct, uncompromising message. The Xylarian Diplomatic Council, once the most aggressive force in the known galaxy, now looked like a collection of frightened children. Their most advanced strategists could not develop a comprehensive response to human unpredictability. Quantum communication networks continued to pulse with analysis. Each transmission revealed more about the alien civilization's growing terror than any direct information about human intentions. Ambassador Yoon Park remained standing perfectly still. His posture suggested something beyond diplomatic training, a fundamental understanding that humanity had transformed the galactic power structure with a single communication. Alien research teams discovered something that terrified them even more than the initial military demonstration. Humanity's ability to communicate was as sophisticated as their technological capabilities. Each word was a calculated instrument of psychological warfare. The message continued to spread. Faster than traditional communication networks, the human declaration traveled across star systems. It was not just a diplomatic statement. It was a fundamental reimagining of galactic relationships. Dr. Wu Kim reviewed the global response. Humanity remained calm, almost indifferent to the galactic panic they had created. Their focus remained on continued research, continued innovation, continued exploration. Alien civilizations began to ask a terrifying question: what would humans do next? The communication chamber remained silent. Ambassador Yoon Park had said everything that needed to be said. No further explanation was required. No additional words were necessary. Behind the scenes, human research facilities continued their work. Quantum computing networks pulsed with potential. Technological innovations were being developed faster than any alien civilization could comprehend. The universe had encountered something it had never seen before, a species that did not just participate in galactic politics, but actively redesigned them. Humanity was not just a new player, they were rewriting the fundamental rules of existence. Alien diplomatic missions that had once planned invasion now requested careful, measured communication. They wanted to understand, to analyze, to comprehend this new human potential, and in that moment of universal silence, humanity simply continued to exist. Calm, determined, absolutely unafraid. The message was clear. The universe had changed, and humanity was in control.